Thank you for tuning into InRange. This is stage 6 of the Tiger Valley two-man team match. We're going to discuss what stage 6 is, and you can see Picasso here is going to diagram this out for us. These stages are complex enough that diagrams actually make some sense. So, we as the shooters start here together. We will both run up into this bay, and these little lines here are actually weird barricades and props. There are these interesting little things down here that have little windows cut out and little tiny groundhog-sized steel metal head targets.
Yep, little poppers.
At 50 yards. Yep. And so this one is steps and a roof. This one is this weird thing where you have to pull a rope to get the window open and then shoot while holding the rope.
Yeah, it's a shutter.
Yeah, it's a shutter. Open. This one is like a jailhouse with slats.
Very tight slats.
And this one is this crazy hose ladder thing.
Your favorite.
Which we saw that, I'm like, Ian, that's you. You get the hose ladder. After you kill all of the little dudes.
So each shooter has to, Carl's going to do this one, I'm going to do that one. Actually, I'm going to do that one.
Yep.
And then Carl's going to do this one, I'm going to do that one. Then we're going to run up here to the next bay.
Clear your rifles first.
Yes, as always. Every time you move at this whole match.
Every time.
Bag, round, clear it. Up here we have a set of 4 VTAC barricades. And very simple, just 4 paper targets. And so from each barricade, you put 2 hits, it's 2 hits on each target. So from any port you want.
You pick a port and you only get 2 rounds per target. And these have to be A-zone hits. Anything out of the A-zone is, guess what? 1 minute penalty.
Yep. So you shoot those. This is basically just warm up so that you're nice and shaky and out of breath by the time you get to, dun dun dun, this one. And this is you have a big open lane, probably 15 feet, 20 feet wide, and they have a whole slew of black paper targets, so hardcover targets that each have 2 clay pigeons positioned in them, pretty much 1 head and 1 chest. And there's a whole slew of paper no-shoots
behind them.
And so where we had a previous stage with steel no-shoots behind steel targets, on this one, it's very easy to hit a clay and your bullet goes boop through the clay and into a hostage.
Shoot-throughs count.
All of it.
So this is all about firing solutions and angles to get no-shoots, because guess what every no-shoot is?
A minute.
1 minute penalty.
Everything's a minute.
Clear your pistols and then boogie. This
Yes.
is actually pretty long.
Wow.
This is a long haul
All the way back
to the original location. So we're going to go shoot this. We got a little bit of a wait. We're going to go shoot this next,
Yep.
and we'll come back to you and let you know how it goes.
5-minute part time.
5 minutes. Start! Wait at the barricade. Go!
Red line loaded up, run it. Be safe, don't cross.
All right, so stage 6.
Stage 6.
In the bag.
Yeah, it's in the bag.
We sort of shot it clean.
We had it. Well, we had a very good run time. One of the best run times that we heard of.
Yeah.
We ran the whole thing in 2 minutes and 58 seconds,
Which was shocking to me. I didn't think we were that fast.
I found it interesting with this match. There was a lot of situations in which it seemed like we were not going that fast, and then when we came back and compared it to the raw times of other people's runs, we were substantially and very often one of the fastest squads.
Yeah.
I don't quite get that, but that's interesting. I'm not sure why. It must be something to do. It's definitely not my running. It has to be something to do with efficiency of motion or efficiency, or maybe getting the hits faster. There's something there that's not quite tangible, but it's real.
But it's a good thing.
So anyways, we go up and we run up and we shoot the, we go up onto those barricade things. I get on the roof and I knock down those metal heads.
Yep.
Then I run over to that weird little window thing and pull the window and shoot the metal heads.
The metal heads were a little bit on the easier side because, psychologically, because you had as many rounds as you wanted to hit them.
Those metal heads were not a problem at all.
No.
How bad was it for you on that weird hose ladder?
Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Okay. In fact, I went 1 for 1 on it.
I know I was done and ready for you a little bit before you were done shooting.
Yeah, it took me a moment to get up onto the thing.
And then you got off, and then we run over to the VTAC barricade. Well, I'm going to call them VTAC, the barricade portion. And there's these holes cut out, and there's 4 targets downrange.
Yep.
And we had originally, I started on the bay on portions 1 and 2, targets 1 and 2 array.
Right.
And then we go over, and we had discussed earlier, I was going to shoot barricades 1 and 2, and you were going to shoot barricades 3 and 4.
Right.
But then they instructed us fairly briefly before we're supposed to shoot that actually that's not how that works. At the barricades, you have to shoot 1 and 3 and 2 and 4.
Right, you have to overbound each other.
It's a bounding overwatch kind of thing. So we run over, and I go to barricade 1, shoot 2 nice clean hits.
Yep.
Run over to barricade 3 and shoot 2 nice clean hits.
Yep.
You shoot 2 nice clean hits from
my
2.
target.
Hold on. You shoot 2 nice clean hits on 2 and 2 nice clean hits on 4.
Yep.
We run over to the pistol, the no-shoot pistol area. That was actually more challenging than I expected.
That was fun.
There was a lot of potential for really bad things to happen there.
And with every penalty being a minute, every no-shoot being a minute, it was essential to take the time, lean, make sure there's nothing behind the target you're shooting at. It's funny though, the key to this stage was all you have to do is obey the 4 basic rules of gun safety.
That was actually true. Shoot the target and know your target and what's behind it.
Exactly.
And there was a lot of sliding back and forth, and we went a little slow there, but it didn't turn out to be bad for the raw time.
Yeah.
Then we get back, and they're like, guys, you shot the pistol part clean. Sweet. But there's 4 hits on target number 2 instead of any hits on target number 3. Well, whee! This is how this match goes. Because what happened was, when we had thought this through, I had mentally planned this. This is me. This is this match. No one comes out of this match unscathed. Okay, so I went and I shot targets 1 and 2 in the first bay. Then we go to the next bay, and I shoot targets 1 and 2.
Yep.
No, I didn't. I should have shot targets 1 and 3, but I shot targets 1 and 2.
Oops.
So they said my groups were awesome, like super close, and so we just neutralized the hell out of target 2 and left 2 hanging on 3, which turned into 2 penalties, which in the grand scheme of things was actually quite low.
That's nothing out here.
It is nothing.
We saw stages where squads were getting 37 penalties on a stage.
Yeah, it was still disappointing to come back and learn that a mental glitch cost us 2 minutes in penalties. However, there were squads that had 37 minutes in penalties. So, with that in mind, we could have won that stage. I think we didn't win that stage, but that one made me go.
So that one was interesting in that the first 2 sections were really kind of intended to be filler.
They were.
The way I see it,
some people struggle with those heads.
True.
Yeah.
If you were seriously proficient at the stage, the idea I think was that the first 2 are there to make sure that you are winded and under stress when you get to the pistol and the no-shoot.
I would agree with that. The no-shoot was the one that they really wanted you taxed for.
Right.
And it's interesting that the only reason the mental game blew up for me is I was just thinking 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And when we get to the no-shoot pistol area, there was no 1, 2. It was an array of targets and no-shoots that you had to be very careful with, and the numeric thing went away.
That was pretty fun. When we went in there, we split and went to opposite sides, and we planned this out briefly. This was a very simple plan. Start at the outside and just shoot our way into the center.
And the idea was, do not shoot anything that you are not 100% sure there's nothing behind to hit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, right at the end, I was on one of the targets and starting a trigger press, and it exploded in front of me. I'm like, I guess Carl got that one. And one thing they did not do, they did not call it clean. They didn't tell you when you were done.
Oh, these ROs don't tell you anything. When I got to the Barricade 3 and I actively went to 2, I know it now. I just did.
Everyone's just seen it on video, I'm sure.
I know, in many other environments, an RO would be like,
wrong target,
target 3.
Nope.
This match, they don't say anything.
Which is sometimes good and sometimes bad. They also don't necessarily call your hits when you make hits. And they're supposed to call hits.
I kind of like it. Because, for example, when you're in that no-shoot array, this whole thing where there's this... I think that there's a match real-world collision here in which you get used to looking at your RO and being like...
Am I done?
And there's this eye contact, and they usually will be like... And then you look at the RO, and he's like... And?
What do you want?
Yeah, no, literally. And I think that that's something to foster more often than not.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, at least in some venues, in some places, and this is a place that's absolutely the right place for the RO to not necessarily be helping you along.
Yeah, the RO is not your friend. He's not your enemy, but he's also not your friend.
No, he's there to keep it safe and make sure the rules are applied at least as consistently as possible.
And make sure you have enough ROs to keep track of all of your penalties.
Yep, and all of your fingers and toes when you're done with the stage.
Well, what I'm getting at is,
right, yeah.
so I'm at this RO's at 10 penalties. Switch to the next RO.
So at any rate, mea culpa, I'm the one that got us 2 penalties on that one. But even with that, it was actually one of the better scores of the overall match. Could have been a winning stage, but it turned out to be one of the top scores instead of one of the winning scores. But
pretty happy with it.
Still an awesome stage, and totally represents what Tiger Valley's about.
Yeah.
So, guys, we got one more stage left, and after that, we will then finally have a full match conclusion.
I think the last one's kind of a little something different.
It's way different.
Yeah.
So
We're hearing rumors.
Stay tuned for the last and final stage of Tiger Valley.